Definitely Leonardo da Vinci.
Da Vinci.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just be a fly on the wall, observe every part of his life,
Correct.
because the kind of things he was able to do
Yeah.
with the same amount of time everyone
Yeah.
had is just insane.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, I firmly believe he's the greatest human being to have
I
ever
would,
lived.
I would totally
By
agree
far.
on the amount of learnings I got from studying his biography, or like just observing his what today modern we use. A large portion of inventions have somehow been linked. They are linked to his
Yeah.
observations about, like, he most of science and art
Yeah.
has what do you call, foundation built by him in one way or the other.
Correct.
Yeah. So, and also to be so curious, like he's probably might have been curious every single moment of his life, looking about and wondering why is that happening, and trying to figure out on his own instead of waiting for. Because I remember reading somewhere, and if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but he was able to figure out the flaps of a hummingbird by observing it, right? Which is blows my mind. Like, how the hell did you even think of like
Correct.
able
And it's
to,
very fast
it's,
also, right?
it's impossible to see, like.
Correct.
So that I think, and he was making weapons at one side,
Yeah.
and then he's making like theater and like
Yeah.
making anatomy and
Correct.
like painting, and
Yeah.
so that him for sure.
And sorry for interjecting.
Yeah, please.
You know, in Bahubali, there's one chariot which runs and then
that
it
has
has
a
got
slug, yeah.
that is a Da Vinci
Invention.
design.
Yeah.
Like he had drawn the prototype of that, like the early design of like whatever.
Not just
weaponry.
prototype. Actually, there are certain museums which have those pieces.
Oh.
So you can see some of the models from that time which still exist. I remember going for a like a museum which had a introspection of all his weaponry based work.
Okay.
Not everything, just the weaponry base, all including his drawings. And Bill Gates has the book, which is
Yes,
his
yes.
biography, like his all this.
Yeah.
So they had brought the like some of the work from that, and that is very interesting. But because it's just insane for one person to radically think
Yeah.
completely in opposite directions and still be so good at doing that.
Correct.
So I would be very interested to see how he would see today's world, or I would like to see how he would want to be seen
Correct.
in a
And that's the
image.
tricky thing about shooting a great artist, because he might be like, hey, I can sketch myself better than your photographer.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So that time, like, what all photographs now we have of Da Vinci?
Nothing. No, there was no
Are these
camera.
like paintings.
Just
Yeah,
paint.
just
He has a self-portrait.
Yeah. Which is generally used as a reference for him.
Yeah, and I think a few other his disciples have painted him at some point. And like the thing is, like, he is also just not a painter. You know, he is doing a bunch of things, and he was very rich. He comes from a very rich family.
Yeah.
So he had like a lot of things happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.